Sometimes it just don't pay to be the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. The thick crust, deep dish, Chicago-style Medicare podcast. A day late and many dollars short, Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Well, hello again, everybody. It is wonderful to have you with us here at the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. This is your Medicare expert, Doug Jones, as my Canadian nephew, Drew McMillan, may have told you. My understanding is from Drew's mother that he has left his Jewish accounting firm in downtown Toronto to go work for a large manufacturing company, again in the Toronto vicinity, and he has taken a position that puts him on the fast track to success. So once again, all the best to Drew McMillan, his lovely bride, and their two children. It's going to be fun watching those kids grow up because they're more American than they are Canadian. They just happen to live on the other side of the border. And here we are, ready to talk about Medicare. And why do we do this periodically? We do it because there are a lot of people out there who are not sure how Medicare and they will mesh together. And so they need some reassurance that Medicare is going to be a positive experience for them. And I'm here to provide that reassurance. One of the ways I do that is to suggest that people read my book. You can get any of my books at Amazon.com. But the flagship, the one and only original version of my Medicare thoughts is called Medicare for the Lazy Man 2026. That's the current edition, and it is waiting for you on a shelf at Amazon. When you order it, you can get the paperback version for $11, and believe me, that is a steal when it comes to the amount of Medicare knowledge you're going to find packed into a fairly small package. It is not a lengthy read. It's not a ponderous read. It's not going to put you to sleep. I would say that if you get yourself a stiff drink, you're going to be more than halfway through it by the time you need to refill that drink. But when you finish that book, you're going to feel confident that you know mostly what you are going to need to know to protect yourself from the possible errors, the expensive mistakes, and to move in the right direction when it comes to Medicare engagement. And then, of course, the second book available is called Medicare Enrollment Guide. That is a book that you can purchase on Amazon for $5 if you want the paperback, $3 if you want the Kindle, or you can go to the website that Randy Carson created for me, MedicareForTheLazyMan.com, and download it for free. This is, I believe, the most powerful book in Medicare. It's only about 20 pages of instructions as to how to enroll in Medicare, but it is all content and no fluff. It starts out by telling you that there are several groups of people and they have different rules for enrollment. And then it goes on to tell you about how to enroll in Medicare A and B. And then it further goes on to explain about Medicare supplement plans, the role that an agent has in helping you get the right coverage. And finally, it will explain your best or your options as regarding Medicare drug plans. And all of that knowledge crammed into 20 pages. It's incredible. When you pick that thing up, it's got so much knowledge that it's actually heavy. You can feel the knowledge and the helpfulness that book will provide. So that's the Medicare Enrollment Guide. It's available at Amazon for a few bucks. It's available on MedicareForTheLazyMan.com for free. So I was just going there and downloading it for free, and you'll have the content that you need when enrollment time comes around for you. And then finally, of course, we have Medicare Drug Plans, a simple DIY guide. I wrote this last year for those who are having trouble figuring out what their enrollment or what their Medicare drug plan which one of the available Medicare drug plans is going to be the best for them. And by best, I mean cheapest. The one that'll cover all your drugs at your local pharmacy for the least amount of money, hopefully zero money in many cases. And the book is available at, at Amazon for a fairly modest sum of money. But then I discovered that there is an even more intense method of assistance available. It's a subscription service. It would normally cost you $30 a year. In our case, we offer a link that will get you a discount of $5. So for $25, you can have a computerized service called Hey Mo. This is fully described in each of my two books, the Medicare for the Lazy Man and the Medicare Enrollment Guide. Hey Mo is a service that's perfect for people who have very complicated drug regimens or who have to take a lot of drugs, because it uncovers discount opportunities that no other source I know of will ever expose to you. And so if you're looking for the best way to get your drugs in the cheapest, for the cheapest amount of money, it is going to be the Hey Mo subscription drug plan selection service. But don't go straight to them. Go to MedicareForTheLazyMan.com and click on the Hey Mo link so that you get that discount. Plus, they'll treat you right. If they know that you came as a recommendation from the Medicare for the Lazy Man team, then they're going to go out of their way to be helpful if you need any extra help. So those are the items that I like to flog every time that we log on. And frankly, I have to tell you, if my enunciation is strained today, it's because my neighbors showed up about 2 minutes before recording time. My neighbor's lovely wife has her lovely sister and her husband visiting, and they know that I'm a sucker for her Toll House cookies, her chocolate chip cookies. And so they brought a small bag of freshly made chocolate chip cookies over. And of course, I had to make Randy wait while I went out and collected those cookies. And it's something I'm looking forward to. So the saliva is running freely. And if I need to wipe my chin off, then I'm hoping Randy will kill time while I perform that process. Randy, you're good at killing time while I do embarrassing things, aren't you?
Well, I am relatively skilled at it. So, if you need to wipe your chin, go ahead. I'll think of something to do in the meantime. I was going to do you know, embarrass the Medicare expert. No, I wasn't going
Oh,
to do that, but
well, you've done so
something.
many times. I'm used to it now. I feel like a whipping boy. That's what it is.
Yes, you got it. Well, something, I am not going to complain about anything today. I'm looking at my miniature weather station on my desk here,
Uh-huh.
and it's telling me it's closing in on 75 degrees, even in my end
Yeah.
of the world. You're probably a little less than that, but
Just a little. I'm always a few degrees cooler than you because you're downhill from me. You're closer to sea level, and I'm
yeah,
I'm up in the old nosebleed mountains where
that's
we've got
right.
a cooler
That
temperatures. But the thing I've been watching is about 2 weeks out, or maybe 10 days out. There is predicted to be some rainy, chilly weather, and that keeps moving every day. I look at it again, and it's moved another day into the future. I'm wondering if it's never going to get here.
Well, there would be an entirely strong possibility that that's true because, I mean, I don't know. Oh, the weather people here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a flood coming. It's going to rain. Just go, bundle up the kids because we're not going to live through it.
Yes.
And then there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
A cloud goes over and oh, the world's going to come to an end.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
I
seen that
kid
in
you not.
it would be bad here if you had never seen it before, but when you go to California and you live through their hysteria at a rainy day, when not only are the weather people hysterical, but also anybody you encounter is going to be saying, "Oh my God, it's raining. We can't possibly leave the house. I'm calling in sick. I'm not gonna."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so
Well, I
that's just
probably told you this story before. It talks about talk about overreaction to weather.
Yeah,
I won't name names, but we have a neighbor who it wasn't really used to this type of weather out here. But she heard on the radio that there was okay, I'm an expert on this. I don't know about you guys out there in Illinois, but I'm a tornado expert.
sure. We
Okay.
got plenty of tornadoes in Illinois.
So anyway, so I'm originally from Nebraska, so that's tornado central. It's only second to Texas, okay?
I
So,
disagree, sir. I must disagree violently with that. I would say that Oklahoma would be Tornado Alley.
oh, really?
Oh,
Really?
God. Oklahoma is just nothing but Tornado City in the spring.
Well, Nebraska could hold a pretty good candle to that. But anyway,
Sure.
long story short, we know when to worry and when not to worry. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If this lady that didn't know when to worry and when not to, she heard like on the news out here in Arizona, there was a tornado watch, which meant
Oh, yes.
you could
Not even
sit
a
out.
warning.
Not even a warning. That means you can sit out in your yard and drink beer and watch the weather because there's
Yep.
nothing really happening. They just had to post something up,
That's right.
keep their trouble, keep themselves out of trouble. So she's running around the neighborhood, like with a bullhorn. There's a tornado coming. There's a tornado coming. And finally, I said, no, no, that doesn't mean anything.
You said you weren't going to use any names, but let me ask: could this neighbor's name be Gladys Kravitz?
Yes, it is. How did you
Okay,
know
there you go.
that?
Well, because I believe I heard from the same neighbor. You know that stupid next door or the neighborhood or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Well, I saw when COVID was brand new, some woman named Gladys Kravitz made an angry post. She saw several teenagers, young teenagers, walking by in a group on their way to, I don't do something, play basketball or whatever teenagers do nowadays. And she was all upset because none of them were wearing masks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yep,
That's really a bad idea.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What is wrong with the parents of these children?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I kid you not. It's, I'm going to tell you one quick short story.
Okay.
Given the fact that I was born and raised in Nebraska, if the tornado wasn't visible coming down your street, throwing crap in the air, you weren't worried. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
this is a true story. I was sitting in my folks' house, and I don't know if you've ever been this close to a tornado, but bottom line is all of a sudden it's going from hail and rain and wind to absolutely freaking quiet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like in a second, it just goes
Which,
totally
which
quiet.
tells you bad things are about to happen.
And then you start looking out the window and you go, "Oh crap, here it comes." So anyway, long story short is my folks' house. I was sitting in the house when this happened along with Margaret. A tornado came close enough over our house to suck all of the ashes up out through our fireplace chimney,
Oh, wow.
clean our fireplace for us.
Cool.
Didn't hurt anything, but boy, I'll tell you, we were that freaking close.
That is a scary thing. It's nice for the person who normally has to shovel the ashes out of the fireplace,
Yeah.
but it's bad for every other living thing in the neighborhood. Well, the only time I was ever close to a tornado, I was like 12 years old. My parents were out because they were social butterflies and they couldn't get home. They knew that a tornado had come through the area where their house was, but
Yeah.
every road in Wayne, Illinois was blocked by a fallen mature oak tree now
Yeah.
across the road. And so my father, had to climb. I don't know, he got out of the car, left my mother with the car, and climbed over trees and ran from wherever they were stuck to make sure we were all okay in the house. When he saw the house was still standing, I guess he went back and helped my mother find a route home. But it was that scary that it came through at night, and we would have had no visual clues to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you grow up with that stuff, and it's really, it's life, so it's
Oh
not like
yeah,
it's
it's
not
just
like you're
one of the
gonna go
things.
nuts
It's like
over it.
it's like Medicare. It's one of those things that
It
life will
is,
hand you, like a
as you get older, you get closer to 60, you got to start, boning up on Medicare because he'll roll you into a good solution for it. But
and help.
I'm going to be quiet and let Doug do that.
Well, let's see if I can do it successfully, as I have so often in the past. So we start out with an article that describes the plight of people who enroll themselves in Medicare Advantage plans or allow themselves to be enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans. And believe me, that is the second best. Medicare Advantage plans are to be avoided at all costs if you're going to have a happy, if you're going to be guaranteed of a happy encounter with Medicare. So this article in the Medicare Advantage Minute segment of our episode is going to be called, or the headline is, 1/3 of insured adults say that prior authorization has been a major burden in accessing care. Now, this is from KFF, which is a brain trust that it's kind of on the lefty side, but they do have the axe to grind with Medicare Advantage that the rest of us right-thinking people do. They're inadvertent allies of mine. But prior authorization is the process by which the insurance plan is able to ration care. If their accounting department says that they need to put more money back into the company coffers, they can just stop providing care by throwing a roadblock into the path of an insured member who needs a particular process or a healing procedure done. The doctor is forced to beg for permission from the Medicare Advantage insurance company, and then the insurance company will either grant permission or deny permission or do some middle ground, like make them jump through additional hoops requesting more information about the planned procedure. If you're in regular Medicare with a Medicare supplement, prior authorization is never going to be a problem for you. But let's see what this article has to say. Remember, the headline is 1/3 of insured adults say that prior authorization is a major burden in accessing care. Now, this refers to people that not just Medicare Advantage people, but prior authorization is a continuing and growing problem with Medicare Advantage plans. So this poll was conducted January 13th to 20th among almost 1,400 U.S. adults. And here are 5 things to know about this particular finding from the poll. 1/3 of insured adults say that prior authorization is a major burden to getting care, with another 37%, that's almost another third, calling it a minor burden. That makes it more burdensome than understanding medical bills, which is 60% of people, getting needed appointments, which is also 60% of people, or even, did I say more burdensome? I mean less burdensome. It's prior authorization problems are more burdensome than these other problems, which would involve understanding medical bills, getting needed appointments, or finding providers who accept their insurance. When asked to identify the single biggest burden beyond costs, 34% of insured adults say that prior authorization, nearly double, is the next closest problem. The share is rising to 39% among adults with chronic conditions requiring ongoing treatment. Number 3, nearly half of insured adults, 47%, say that they have had a service or a treatment or a medication either denied or delayed by their insurance company in the past 2 years. Among those with a chronic condition, that figure climbs to 57%. And the fourth element of this particular finding of this survey that they did, about 2/3 of adults say that delays and denials by insurance companies are a major problem in the current healthcare system. Just 1 in 10 people say that they're not a problem. And finally, number 5, among those who experience a denial or a delay, 1/3 say that it had a major negative impact on their mental health and their finances, and 1/4 say that it had a major negative impact on their physical health. Now, once again, this survey was done among all people, not just Medicare Advantage people, but I will tell you that prior authorization is a hallmark of Medicare Advantage plans, and those who have answered the survey indicating that prior authorization is a problem would be even more enthusiastic if they were asked about Medicare Advantage only. In other words, Medicare Advantage people have nothing to hang on to but prior authorization. They have very little recourse. The multi-step process for appealing a denial of coverage is very burdensome. And I will tell you that that's not the kind of activity that people who are suffering either illness or injury want to have to go through. So that's the Medicare Advantage Minute article for today. The next thing I have available for us is fairly lengthy, so I'm going to save that for another episode when Randy and I aren't acting like a couple of chatty Cathys. And I think we should delve into a couple of pieces of correspondence that I've gotten either from clients or from people who expect to become clients. One of these is, hello, Mr. Jones. That tells me that I don't really know this person. So we have read and appreciated your book on the lazy man Medicare. Could I please ask a couple of questions on behalf of my father? He is enrolled in Medicare A and B, but nothing additional. That's a course of action that if he had had an agent and if he had listened to his agent's advice, that situation would not have arisen. But I'm going back to the letter now. He is 81 years old. He has had this disease. It's myelodysplasia syndrome, blood cancer, for over 10 years. He wants to obtain some gap coverage and or supplemental coverage, such as Part G. So here are my questions. Now, this is his son talking again. First question, are the insurance carriers obligated to cover him, or is that discretionary to them? He is under the impression that they are obligated to cover him, despite the pre-existing disease that he has, the blood cancer. I suspect that may not be the case, however. So his father is saying, oh yeah, they have to cover me. And the son is saying, I'm skeptical of that opinion. Here's the second question the son has. Is it worth attempting to do open enrollment and apply for Part G high deductible in October or sooner if that is possible? Let's see, there are change of life scenarios, or is he going to be limited to possibly a Medicare Advantage option? And the third question is, would he still be able to get a drug plan with the penalty payment of about $65 from here forward? Thank you for your experience again, and we are grateful for any advice on these questions and for guidance. So I said, hello, in order to accurately answer your questions, I would need to know exactly where your father lives. Please let me know that and I will address your concerns. And he said, well, my father lives in California. And so then what did I do? I misplaced the second page of our correspondence. So now I'm returning to the proper file. Okay, here we go. So I said, okay, I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but finding a way to improve your father's health insurance protection will be challenging, if not impossible, at least in the short term. In answer to your questions, number one question, insurance carriers are not obligated to provide Medicare supplements on a guaranteed issue basis outside of certain specific periods when the applicant has left an employer group insurance plan, for instance. Under the circumstances, your father's best opportunity to acquire more comprehensive coverage is to apply for a Medicare Advantage plan. And it really kills me to say that. But in this case, that is one of the ways that Medicare Advantage operates to the advantage or to the benefit of many people when they have made a big mistake and Medicare Advantage becomes their last resort. So, but I will continue reading my answers. His best option is going to be to apply for a Medicare Advantage plan, which will not have any medical underwriting. Unfortunately, he is going to have to wait to make application during annual election period next fall for the plan to begin on the following January 1st. The second question, the annual election period in the fall is often referred to as open enrollment, does not apply to Medicare supplement plans. It is specifically intended for enrollment in Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans. And then third question, or the answer to his third question, he will be able to enroll, your father will be able to enroll in a Part D prescription drug plan during AEP from October 15th to December 7th for benefits to begin on January 1st, 2027. The plan premium would depend on which plan he selects and would have a lifetime late enrollment penalty added to the premium cost. This monthly penalty will be calculated at the rate of about 39 cents times the number of months he has been eligible for a drug plan but failed to purchase one. He might be able to have that penalty dropped if he qualified for a means-tested welfare benefit called Extra Help. Please don't hesitate to let me know whenever you think I might be of additional assistance. And so then the son responded kind of in a dejected manner. He said, "Thank you, Mr. Jones, for your thoughtful and helpful response and for helping me understand these questions. Very much appreciated. Kindest regards." And I had no way of being of assistance because what happened? This gentleman refused to help himself. He could have enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan when he was first eligible. And this didn't have to be age 65. It could be when he left his previous employment. If he was under a group plan, that gets you carte blanche. It gets you a get out of jail free card. You will get the absolute guaranteed right to have the Medicare supplement plan of your choice when you leave your group plan, assuming the group plan was a group of 20 or more people, and it was qualified for that particular dispensation, as almost all of them do. But it's a real sad story to not be able to help somebody who's coming slowly to understand that there's more to this Medicare stuff than meets the eye. You can't just shine it on and then years later expect to correct your mistake, because the rules don't allow for that. And here's a letter. I've even forgotten what the subject is here, but it's one gentleman introducing me to his buddy. And I should have indicated where to start here, but he said, "Hello, Doug. I hope you've been well. I'm reaching out to ask for your help and confirmation on a Medicare transition that my friend Dan is planning. Given your prior guidance and your general preference for original Medicare plus a Medicare supplement, if you are able to counsel or to assist in that process and be compensated by the carriers, we would like that." I'm copying my friend in here on this message for context. So here's the summary of the situation. His friend is currently enrolled in an Ohio Medicare Advantage plan, and he tells me the name of the company. He is an Ohio resident that has recently purchased a residence in Pompano, Florida, and will have utility bills in his name this month, establishing a permanent change of residence. The move takes him out of his current plan service area, but that company does have an Advantage plan in Florida that he prefers to avoid. In case it impacts anything, he is a military veteran, and he has access to VA. Our current understanding, please confirm or correct our current understanding. Number one, a permanent relocation out of the Medicare Advantage plan service area triggers a special enrollment period. Number two, that event also creates a federal guaranteed issue window for Medigap, Medicare supplement, allowing enrollment in a standard Medigap Plan G without medical underwriting. Number three, the guaranteed issue window runs for 63 days from the Medicare Advantage termination or loss of coverage due to the move. Number four, the safest sequence of events or steps that they should take would be notify the Medicare Advantage carrier after the move is documented. Number two, allow the Medicare Advantage plan to terminate due to relocation. Enroll directly into the standard Medicare Supplement Plan G. And then he said, we hear, parenthetically, he says, we hear high deductible may involve medical underwriting. And number four, add a standalone Part D plan. Number five, enroll in another Medicare Advantage plan in between so as not to avoid enrolling in another Medicare Advantage plan so as not to jeopardize our guaranteed issue rights. Our primary goal is to ensure this transition is executed cleanly without triggering underwriting risk or losing guaranteed issue protection that's tied to the move. This has had some thought put to it. So if you're aligned with this understanding, we'd appreciate your help in overseeing or facilitating the transition and confirming any nuances we should be aware of, like timing, documentation, carrier considerations in Florida, et cetera, et cetera. Thanks in advance. Looking forward to your thoughts. Feel free to reach out to Dan directly. And it was a lengthy thought piece wherein he outlined all of his reasoning. And then, of course, I responded, "Hello, gentlemen." I said, "I have read Len's message several times, searching for flaws or errors, but I simply cannot find any. I will be very happy to offer my opinions and to facilitate this transition in whichever way I can. I'm not sure that proof of relocation in the form of utility bills will be essential to begin the process. I would just call the insurance company, the Medicare Advantage insurance plan, to let them know that you have accomplished your move and that you would like to terminate their coverage. They may have regulations that will determine the actual termination date, and they may need a written confirmation of your intention to relocate. In any event, I would contact that company sooner rather than later and have a date, in quotation marks, a date in mind to give them as your official relocation date." The fact that he has access to the VA can be helpful when it comes to Medicare drug plan rules. If he does not currently take any prescription meds, he can delay purchasing a Part D, as in Delta plan, using a VA prescription drug coverage to allow him to avoid a lifetime late enrollment penalty. This will boil down to deciding which is most convenient for him to use. And then I went on to say, "I'm fairly sure which Medicare supplement will turn out to be the most cost-effective for him to purchase, but I want to be certain, so I have attached a very short questionnaire that requests the details needed. When I receive the answers, I will generate Medicare supplement quotes to share with him." I'm fairly sure, let's see. Oh, yes. An important part of wrapping up the new coverage will be having a copy of the prior company's termination letter to submit to the Medicare supplement company. Medicare will take over their part of your insurance protection without the need to take any action. We will coordinate the start of Medicare supplement plan with the end date of the Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare will make a seamless transition. The second attachment to this message is a copy of my newest, shortest book. I can't help but flog my newest, shortest book. It's called Medicare Enrollment Guide. It was primarily written for those newly eligible and will have limited value in this situation, but I included it just in case it will shed a little bit of light on the process. I guess the next step is to call the insurance company and break their hearts. So I'm looking forward to our future project being brought to a successful conclusion. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I take that from our president, who apparently signs everything that way. So I believe that's enough of the correspondence for today, because when I look at the old clock on the wall, I see that it's roughly, it's exactly 4 minutes past our target time. However, thanks to the generous pile of quarters that was sent to Randy earlier this month, or later last month, we've got a little time for a quiz here, and I want to ask Randy a category that we don't ever deal with. It's called STEM jobs. I think it's science, technology, something or other that starts with an E, and mathematics. Would that be STEM? Do you have an understanding of the word STEM when it comes to
The only thing I know about STEM is stem cells, and that's not it.
No, that's not it. Well, I believe it's technical jobs, jobs that are good to have in an area because they don't generate a lot of carbon footprint, but they're highly technical and highly cerebral in nature. And so we want to know, because I've got the results of a study here. Wallet Hub, of course, is our go-to for studies that are wasting a lot of our valuable podcast time, but the best and the worst cities for STEM jobs. In other words, if you were looking for a STEM job, let's start with the best cities. Where would be the best city to look for a STEM job?
Silicon Valley.
All right, I'm going to give you the answer. It's across the country from Silicon Valley, but it won't surprise you. You'll kick yourself for not coming up with it first. Boston.
I never guess these things right.
Here you go. Here's a description. I should have read the fine print in my own podcast content here. My content curator is laid up right now, so I'm not getting the kind of quality curation that I always like to see. Boston tops Wallet Hub's 2026 ranking of the best cities for science, technology, engineering, and math jobs. The personal finance website compared 100 of the most populated U.S. metropolitan statistical areas across 3 dimensions. And here are those 3 dimensions: professional opportunities, STEM friendliness. Are we STEM friendly? I'm not
STEM
so sure.
friendly? I've never heard of that term, but okay.
Well, I'm when I look in a mirror, I don't see a lot of STEM friendliness oozing from the guy looking back at me. And quality of life, which I don't know what that has to do with a STEM
Now
friendly
this is
job.
Boston?
Yeah, that's number one.
Quality of life in Boston?
That's what they're saying here. I mean, Boston has brutal winters. They have brutal traffic. They have brutal
Yeah.
taxes. They
And
have a lot of,
brutal expense. Why don't they? I think Boston was way back in the day was really another term for brutal.
yeah, absolutely. It was started with the same letter. Wallet Hub evaluated these dimensions using 21 metrics. Boy, let's make it complicated, shall we? Ranging from job openings for STEM graduates per capita to singles friendly. Oh, okay. So apparently STEM friendly people or STEM graduates are singles. That makes a difference because you've got a lot of colleges around the Boston area. And so I think the singles mingling is probably very high on their list of things to do. Each metric was graded on a 100-point scale, with 100 representing the best job markets for STEM professionals. Each metropolitan area's overall score is based on a weighted average across all metrics. God, they had to hire STEM friendly people just to get the numbers crunched. So let me go down the list here. The 10 friendliest for STEM professional STEM jobs. Boston, number 1. Atlanta, Seattle, Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh surprises me because you wouldn't think STEM people would give Pittsburgh a second glance. It's number 4.
I would buy Seattle for sure, but
Yeah. I
not
wonder about Atlanta.
well. I mean, there is a lot of technology down there. I have worked some time in Atlanta, and there's a lot of technology down there.
All right. Well, number 5 on the list is Austin, Texas. Now, I got to tell you that Austin,
That's Dell.
okay, well, Austin apparently is attracting a lot of other STEM types, and I hope they all go to the Saxon Pub to enjoy some great music and some Wrigleyville South grub. It's high class grub. They give you eating irons and everything, so it's not.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. Alrighty. Number 6 on the list, San Francisco. No surprise there because that's Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cincinnati.
What?
Yeah, I can't believe it myself. Salt Lake City, Minneapolis. Well, maybe not right now, but and finally Orlando, Florida is a STEM. Now, the worst cities in the United States for STEM professionals, according to the analysis, and we're burning up so much time here. I'm just going to read through them real fast. The worst places to go if you're a STEM professional, that's science, technology, engineering, or math. Cape Coral, Florida. That's such a beautiful name. How can it not be good for almost everybody? Jackson, Mississippi, Northport, Florida, a town I never heard of until I enrolled a client in Medicare Supplement who lives in Northport, Florida. Never, I don't even know where it is. Memphis, Little Rock, Deltona, Florida. Boy, they really hate Florida. Deltona, Florida. McAllen, Texas, which is right down there, the tip, southern tip of Texas. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which I thought was a major business and STEM center of influence there. Greensboro, North Carolina, and as my family has been known to call it, Oxnard, California.
Oxnard.
Oxnard.
Oh, where do you live? Oxnard?
And what do you do? I don't do STEM, that's for damn sure.
That's right. No, there's no stems here, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think we've set a new world record for long length of podcast episode and stupidity. So
Yeah, my timer is smoking here.
you might want to round us up and get us on out of here.
All righty, grab your pencil quick, folks. Here we go. We're going to do a rundown, and you'll never see the end of it. Number one, write this email address down. It's probably very important. dbj@mlmmailbag.com. You can use that to reach out to Doug any time of the day or night. As I usually say, grab an indelible permanent marker and write that on just right on the front of your refrigerator so you'll have it when you need it. Doug is licensed nationwide, so he can help you in every state of the union. MedicareForTheLazyMan.com. That is where it's all happening. Check it out. Lots of cool stuff happening there. We would appreciate it in your wanderings through the internet if you would drop a review for us. We're still trying to keep ahead of the travelogue people, as you might not imagine, but it's true. And last but certainly not least, thank you for joining us. You could have been anywhere else doing anything else with anybody else, and you weren't. You were with us, which is exactly where we love to have you. You have just spent, I used to say about 32 and a half minutes. Now I'm going to say you have just spent some unknown amount of time with the Medicare for the Lazy Man expert, Doug Jones, originally from Oklahoma. Not now. He's living in the high ground behind Cave Creek, Arizona, in what we affectionately call the Nosebleed Mountains, the home of the Nosebleed Indians, and we are going to put him in. We always have to put an altitude because we want to know on a particular podcast how high Doug really is. And we're going to put him in at 12,000 feet.
I resemble that institution, but I am so glad that you came to join us today, and I'm looking forward to our next episode when you'll be back, hopefully, sitting in the same assigned seats that you had today. So until we meet again, bye-bye.